It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, where we focus on all things weather, sponsored by Marco's Pizza, because we get hungry from time to time. But the big story tonight is the wind-driven rain. I don't have any wind. Be patient. It's coming. Just because the present doesn't always equal the future, you got to work with me. Wind-driven rain moving in while trying to sleep tonight. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult for light sleepers because of the pounding rain on the window panes. And yes, it's going to last tonight into early Friday. Won't last all day Friday. We'll talk about that. In fact, let's go ahead and show you the radar image. Just let me see if I can take this full here. Maybe I can't take it as full as I hoped I could. If I maybe capture this a little bit better. Let me see if I can reboot. Maybe this will actually show up here. Bear with me. But you can see some of the rain behind me. It's now filling in parts of central sections of North Carolina. And so, yeah, I think we can get this on the full screen. There it is. I just had to toggle it. There you go. So you can see it's not quite into a husky yet. It's right on the doorstep of Bertie County coming up from the south. We've had a few sprinkles at best across Chesapeake, Norfolk, and Virginia Beach, but that's just a teaser. That's just a teaser. And you know what I mean by a teaser? It means it's going to intensify in the coming hours. I think it's going to reach a fever pitch around midnight to 4 a.m. And I can kind of illustrate that here momentarily. I-95, we got a warm front here, back toward Raleigh, back toward Fayetteville, and we're in the warm sector, no doubt. We got into the low 60s again, second day in a row. And tomorrow we could be in the mid to upper 60s, briefly, because by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's do. It's actually going to fall in response to this cold front. Very complex storm system. You can see it here. I mean, there's two fronts, you've got an occluded front, you've got everything on the board here. And what's going to happen is with widespread rain overnight, it's going to sweep in like a broom. Heavy rain at what time is that? Oh, that's when many of us are trying to catch some Z's. Maybe you're in REM sleep at that time. Or at least you're trying to, but the dog woke up, and the dog woke the cat up, and the cat woke you up, and it's just a bad cycle. It's like bad dominoes, right? It's karma, it's whatever it is, but it's coming in, and then it's going to sweep out. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, it's breaking apart, and then by the time you hit the afternoon, it's nothing but sunshine, and temperatures are actually tumbling. So here it is. I'm going to pause, because I think it's important that you really capture this image right here. This is the percentages I suspect we're going to find. 80, 60, and then if you're out the door at 7, 8, or 9, it's pretty much done. It's played its hand as far as the rain, and most of it's going to occur in that block of time. I think anywhere from really 11 p.m. if you're in Emporia, Wakefield, right to about, say, 5 or 6 a.m. That's the block of time I think it's going to be very noticeable. And if you're on the call, I would love to say hi to you. I got a note here. Actually, it's a few hours old. This is 22 hours old. I have a new friend. I want to say thanks to Patricia Glasper. She wrote a note. She said, thank you. If I illustrate this with the telestrator, believe I have this on the telestrator. Maybe I don't. Maybe I just have to toggle that too. Let's see if I can come back in here. But she's saying here that she said, thank you for doing such a beautiful job. Glad to have you keeping us up on the weather forecast. My pleasure. Trying to do my best, Patricia. It's not easy because you know when you've got something as changeable and as fluid as this forecast, you got to be on your toes, and you got to stay informed and let your neighborhood know. Let your neighbors know we're getting some rain. By the way, there's also severe weather threat. We haven't even talked about this yet. But if you look, there's an area in Kentucky, Tennessee, back toward Memphis, really west of Knoxville. But there's still a chance for some isolated severe storms there. That's level 1 through tonight, and then even in the overnight period, because this will take us through 7 o'clock in the morning. Rodanthes included, Hatteras, Dare County, maybe southern sections of Camden County, Currituck area. I mean, you're still looking at some counties that are still going to have the potential for severe weather. And when I'm saying severe weather, I'm talking about damaging wind, maybe some localized flooding, potential for the Outer Banks, and large hail, maybe not so much. I think the tornado formation is certainly possible. It's like a 2% chance or less, but it's still a chance. So we're going to go from 2% to 50%. Oh, you know I love that transition. 50% off your pizza just from watching First Warning Live tonight. Deal of the week, if you go to marcos.com, use the promo code WTKR50, you can actually enjoy the benefits the benefits of having, let's see if I can get this on there. Is it going to underline? Maybe not. It's not going to let me underline it. Don't know why, but maybe if I reboot it and reload that page, maybe it will. There it goes. See, it just magically appeared. But if you use the promo code WTKR50, it'll take half off your order. Doesn't matter what you order, whether it's a pizza, a Pizzoli, a pizza bowl, a sub bread. We're talking cheesy bread, wings, salads, garden salad, Greek salad. Maybe you want the Philly, the deluxe, the white cheesy, the big cheese, or chicken fresco. I mean, they've got so many things I can't keep track of it all. But I can tell you, if you do order something, it will take 50% off just from using that. And we're going to announce here in just a few moments, we're going to announce the big winners this week because we're giving away free pizza for a year. It is this live stream that we're giving away 22 pizzas. That's 12 pizzas goes to this particular winner. Oh, I got it with this particular winner. My images have disappeared. I'm telling you what, everything's kind of falling off here. But the pizza for a year certificate will be awarded to somebody tonight, and then we're going to give away 10 individual pizzas. But you have to use these 6 locations. That's kind of like the trade-off. If you're in Virginia Beach, there's 3 locations, 2 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk, and if you go to our webpage, it's not too late because next week we're going to give away more winners, but we usually do this on Thursday, and today, last I checked, it is Thursday. So it is Thursday, and we're going to be giving away 10 individual pizzas, even though this is your image, that would say Marcos, typically. I can tell you that. That's what I'm saying, having some technical difficulties, but work with me. By the way, the rainfall potential, have you ever been on a game show? Of course not, but you've watched them, where they usually say, hey, we've got curtain number 1, curtain number 2, curtain number 3. I want to give you 3 curtains, 3 solutions, right? Because not all the models agree. Surprise, surprise. And if they all agree, then you really have reasons to be worried. But no, these are all using different sets of equations and motions, so they're trying to figure out, are we going to get a ½ inch to an inch? If you buy this particular solution, curtain number 1, this is the European model, it suggests an even inch. Cape Charles, Norfolk, and Edenton in terms of rainfall. Now, do I expect that to be the case at all 3 locations? No. But it gives you a guide. It's guidance, not gospel. Maybe it's closer to 9/10 in Nag's Head. But I can tell you, when you have systems like this one that's coming in with the wind and the rain, you're likely to have some variability. So if that's door number 1, curtain number 1, curtain number 2 is the GFS model, it puts over 2 inches in the Outer Banks and puts about 0.75 on the south side and the peninsula. Now, maybe it's a tad more in Albemarle, maybe 1.2, maybe 1.25 inches. But if you got a ½ inch of rain in the Eastern Shore, compare that to where we looked at just a moment ago. Eastern Shore here had about an inch. I mean, there's a big difference. There's a ½ inch or an inch. Exactly. Because again, meteorology is not an exact science. It takes the best, it attempts to, of the pure sciences like chemistry and physics. It's an applied science. You get meteorologists just apply, so ½ inch to an inch, probably a good upright. For most of us, that's how much rain I think we're going to get, but there will be some areas that I got 2. And everyone's going to they'll be dumbfounded. How did I get 2? That's just the way the cookie crumbles. If you get thunder, you might actually have more in the way of rainfall, and that's what the models are trying to discern. So we go back to curtain number 2, door number 2. GFS has over 2 inches in the Outer Banks, about a 0.75 in the south side, and we're not done. We can show you the graph model. It shows different. It shows it completely different. It shows 0.6. And I believe this is the 18C one. So this is the very latest, shows the only place that gets an inch is the Albemarle. So, like I said, I think we're in keeping with what we were saying several days ago. I still think we're probably in that ½ inch to an inch with locally higher amounts possible. All right, it's time for me to take a pause and import some of the new comments, because you can see I was having some technical difficulties. I was even having internet connectivity problems right before I came on, but I got it fixed thanks to our wonderful engineers here. And now I can tell you that once we're now in the full swing of things, by tonight, by midnight, things are going to be rocking and rolling in terms of the rainfall intensity and the coverage. It's going to cover a great large area, a large swath, as it were, and I hope you're ready for it. A couple of notes might be new that are popping in here. Kim Thompson-Jones is excited. I think she's excited about, she says, happy day before birthday for Taj, wherever you are. Taj, that's right. This is a birthday eve for Mr. Taj. And you know what Taj Brown did not reveal was his age. I said he was probably going to be wiser by 1 year. I think that's pretty playing it down the middle, right? But let's say he's just the right age for Taj, right where he wants to be. It's not a matter of how many birthday candles he's had on his cake. It's just how you feel. I guess that could be a way to do it. And Kim also following up with Happy Pizza Thursday for Marcos, our first Morning Live peeps. Thank you so much, Kim. I appreciate you being here, and you're here most nights. and I appreciate you, as we're going to do the pizza winners at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock, which is why I'm probably talking very fast. I'm trying to get as much weather in before we deliver the pizza winners here in a moment. So we're going on the board with thinking a half inch to an inch, locally higher amounts possible, especially the Outer Banks. And when you say wind-driven rain, David, you have to have some wind first, right? Well, this is the case in point. You might look at this and say, Aldrich, you're losing credibility by the second because there's no wind. Not yet. Not yet. It's coming. It's coming. And so far, the only wind gust we have on this board is Kill Devil Hills at 22. But it's only 7:50. We're still 4 hours and 10 minutes away from midnight. Wait till then and say, oh, yeah, now suddenly the winds are blowing. That's what's going to happen. And you can see this illustrated at 11 o'clock tonight. Look at the projection here at the top right. That's the day and time. It's suggesting wind speeds could be closing in on 38 on the Outer Banks and 36 on the Eastern Shore. So we're just at the peak, really the calm before the storm, right? The calm before the winds. Because watch the Outer Banks for a moment. If we move this forward, suddenly the 40 to 45 that I've been talking about on TV for the last couple of hours really shows signs of picking up in the Albemarle, inland North Carolina, Outer Banks. You've got some really strong winds in purple over 40. Some of the earlier models of this run today, or model runs on this model, had about 69 miles an hour. I thought that was a bit maybe extreme, but when you get data that has an outlier like that, you have to wonder, what is it trying to figure something out? Maybe it's one location. All it would take is one or two locations to have a 69 mile an hour gust and you lose your power. Right? And that's why I think the National Weather Service has in good keeping now, they have that, at least the Storm Prediction Center, in coordination with the Department of the National Weather Service, has a level 1 isolated severe storm threat for the Outer Banks. So overnight tonight, that'll be a concern. Look at these winds. Eastern Shore now, this is new data. This is 3 in the morning. Watch it pop up to near 50. This could also have reasons. If tomorrow is your trash day and you're putting your cans out like right about now, and you're going to go, man, I didn't know it was going to be that bad. Well, it would be bad, especially if you have your Christmas presents all wrapped and all the wrappings are in the trash can. They're going to be in your neighbor's yard. You don't want that, right? You don't want your all that to be revealed to all your neighbors. Oh, you got a Samsung something or other? You don't want that, right? So make sure your trash cans are secure before you go to bed tonight, or maybe just wait till tomorrow morning to put it out on the street or on the curb if that's allowable, if that's doable for you. But a 48 mile an hour gust, 43 here, that's 3 a.m. This is all happening while many of us are trying to put our head on the pillow, but all of a sudden the dog, the cat, or maybe you have suddenly woke up because the winds are so fierce. By 4 o'clock in the morning, the winds are slowing down because the purple's disappearing, but it's replaced with some red and orange. By 6 a.m., you get gusts throughout the day. It's not until it gets dark Friday night, that's when I think the winds are going to fall off in a bigger way. So that's 5 o'clock. You notice they go less than 20 by about 9 p.m. Friday night. So once we get dark tomorrow night, that's when the winds are going to slow down. Because invariably, somebody's going, when are these winds going to slow down? Tomorrow night is the answer. Now, we're doing this in reverse. Right? You look at this Friday planner, and we're going from 65 to 55. It's like we're doing the moonwalk. We're going back the wrong way. It's like 62 at noon, 55, 47. You would think it would be the other way around. But in the response to the cold front, this is what happens. Sometimes it's an upside down day, right? I think we have a good chance of getting to 67, mid to upper 60s. But when does it drop? When does it start to ease downward? 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. That's my expectation for Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, and Norfolk. Now, if you're in Emporia or if you're in Wakefield, you're way to the west, timing will be a little off. But I think around 10 o'clock, Norfolk International will suddenly have a high in the mid to upper 60s, and it's going doo-doo-doo, and back to, 55 is not cold, but it's 10 degrees cooler than the way it started. And then you're back to 47 by the time we hit, say, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And that's the time that the winds are going to actually slow down. So to be clear, winds will start off out of the southwest. They'll be more westerly in the afternoon, 15 to 30. That's the sustained numbers. And gusting 40 to 45 here on the south side. That's my expectation, and I'm sticking to it. I got some other notes here. Alexander wants to say hello. And I believe Alexander has a follow-up question ready for this wind this time. Okay, good. And I don't know how people prepare Power outages possibility, who knows? If you're sound asleep, if you know someone in your house tends to snore, they're probably not going to be disturbed by a little bit of wind pounding on the window pane. However, if you're the one that has to hear the snoring of the partner in your household, you might wake up simply because the wind is pounding, the dog is barking, or hiding under the bed with the cat. I don't know. That anything could happen. I can tell you, I have a dog, I have a cat, and yes, all those things have been known to happen. Sometimes my dog will hang out in the laundry room simply because my dog, she doesn't like thunder. That's it. Thunder is not one of her strong suits. Can't do it very well. Now, headlines, let's talk about it. We're doing this in reverse. Warm tonight, early Friday. Temperatures in the 60s, wind-driven rain developing tonight. Early rain to sun. I even put the times on here. I mean, I'm just putting it out there for it to be chopped off, because some people in the weather community, they won't be that specific. I don't want to be wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong. I've done the homework. I've looked at this data for hours today. And I think by 1 o'clock, virtually everybody within the sound of my voice in Hampton Roads will have full sunshine. Might even come out at 11 a.m., but by 1, it's a sunny day. But the temperature should start to drop around 10. So we might hit our maximum at 9:30, 9:45, 10-ish, but by noontime, we're not getting any warmer. We're going down, as I mentioned, to 55 by about 4 p.m. Cooler weekend ahead, afternoon highs in the 40s and the 50s as you're watching First Warning Live. By the way, did you know we're 7 days away until Christmas? We're 1 week away. That's it. And I do have that all featured in and on the First Warning Weather WTKR 7-day forecast. That's coming up here in mere moments. In addition to 4 minutes from now, we're giving away some pizza. And some of the names that are on tonight's list, I recognize. I either recognize because they've left comments. Sometimes there are people I don't even know, and that's fine. But it's nice that the sales department here at WTKR, they put it through a randomizer. What if they randomly select the winners? And the winners tonight will have 10 individual pizzas and 1 Pizza for a Year certificate winner. Last week it was Lynn Old, and he's left comments here too. So it's happy. I'm always celebrating when people can get some free Marco's pizza. I love the fact that we're doing that. Now Lowe's this morning, 38. Right, 38 in Virginia Beach and Norfolk was 36 this morning. That's balmy compared to where we were this week. Because if you recall, I'm just giving you context, my friend. It was 19 on Monday, and it felt like it was 9. Do you remember that? That was just like 3 days ago. It was 19, and it felt like 9 with the frozen face. And then it was 23 Tuesday, 28 on Wednesday, yesterday. It was 10 degrees warmer this morning, 38. 38 felt like Eureka. I feel like I'm in Florida. But if it was 38 in Florida, imagine how crazy, they would be upset. They would probably want a refund for moving to Florida. Oh, it was 38 degrees, that's cold, right? 54, this is what's so misleading. It says 54, but that may be where we are this evening, briefly in some communities, but we're going up. We're talking about the forecast, but when you wake up, it'll be in the 60s. So this cold spell, this big old thaw, T-H-A-W, the thaw has been slow. But now we're turning the corner. We're going back to the warm air. And we did hit 62 degrees for the second day in a row in Norfolk. I was expecting 64. To be fair, only Hampton got to 64. 63 in Suffolk. And it was 62 in Newport News. About 62 was around 151 this afternoon. So we did it right early in the afternoon. Rain chances, I'd mentioned 80%, but that's really centered around midnight to 4 a.m. and then it starts to fall off. I have no rain Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. 20% chance on Tuesday for some spotty rain. And if you are feeling cheated, some people do, they feel cheated. They always tell me, I had one guy tell me when I was working 4 years in Rochester, New York, 100 inches a year was the average, right? You live this close, as I did in Rochester, that close to Lake Ontario. You live by that, the snow is it's like it's there. It's ever present. Starts snowing in September, doesn't stop till Mother's Day. And so when I had a guy, it was 1 year around Christmas time, they were upset that we didn't have a snow cover, didn't have a snowpack. It was Christmas. And I said, and he's like, oh, it's just not right. It doesn't feel like Christmas. And I said, well, sometimes it's just the way it goes. We have had an inch, even though some people say it didn't count because it's not still here. But we're getting closer to Christmas. We're just a week away. It is going to be a mild Christmas. I don't expect snow. You already had snow. We had snow, almost an inch on the 8th of December. And today is the 18th. So 10 days ago, we had an inch. Places like Williamsburg and Yorktown, Gloucester had 3, 4, and 5 inches or more. First day of winter is this Sunday. Take note. You can send out a tweet, say season's greetings if you so desire at 10:03. That's when winter officially starts. Astronomically, what does that look like? It means once we hit 10:03, we can say goodbye to fall. You mean we had snow during the fall season? Technically, yes, we did. But when the sun is directly over the Tropic of Capricorn, the solar energy is greatest in the southern hemisphere. So there you go. I'm just kind of buying some time because it's just now about time to give away some free pizza. These are our current temperatures. I'll come back to them. It is still 60, my friend, in Norfolk, and that's up from a degree or so in the last hour. 57 in Elizabeth City, while it's still 63 in Kitty Hawk. Okay, it is time for one of my favorite times of the week. Giving away free pizza. Maybe your name is on that list. If you are not even in the pool of applicants, what are you waiting for? Because all you have to do is sign up at WTKR.com/Marcos. We've got a short week next week with Christmas quickly approaching. I'll be live streaming on Monday and Tuesday, but I believe we're still going to be giving away some pizza on Tuesday. So make sure you sign up. Love to have you. And of course, if you don't win 100% pizza, which is free, you can still get 50% off. You don't have to qualify. You just use the promo code WTKR50. All right, so that's where that is at this moment. Let me go back to the winners. Let's start off with winner number one. We're going to start off with the individual pizzas. This is one free pizza that has a large, that's one topping, and there are people that maybe you know. So let's go ahead and get a drum roll, please. This week's first winner, number 1 and 2 in no particular order, Annette Noel in Portsmouth. Congratulations, Annette. This is fantastic. I don't even know Annette, but I'm going to just react on her behalf and say, woohoo, oh, yay, Cynthia Price. You don't have a price. It's free. You're getting a free Marcos pizza, and she's in Norfolk, and she will be able to utilize at her discretion any one of the 6 stores we talked about here. So if you are in Norfolk, probably the Hampton Boulevard address might be your best bet. Cynthia, it's probably closest to you, but number 1 and 2 on the screen. Number 3 and 4. Would be Takia White from Virginia Beach and our friend Harold Mayton at Virginia Beach. Also winners tonight of a free Marcos pizza. Now you might be saying, where's my pizza? I don't see it. It's coming in the mail. It'll be sent by U.S. Post Office and you'll be receiving it. So when you get something that might have WTKR on it or Marcos on it, don't throw it away because you're throwing away free food. Don't do that. Nobody wants to give away or throw away free food in this economy. So make sure you save what's coming in your mailbox very, very soon. Number 5 and 6 would be Jenna and Jennifer from Virginia Beach and Newport News. I guess that's Jenna Sezi and Jennifer Sumrak, if I said that right, in Newport News. I may have butchered some names, but Jenna, thank you for participating. I'm glad you're getting a pizza. It's headed your way. Number 7 is somebody that I recognize from previous comments. It would be Milton Hill Jr. in Norfolk. Milton, congratulations. I know you follow me on Facebook. Glad to see a familiar name, at least to me, that you just won a free pizza, my friend, with 1 topping. Congratulations to you. Shanice Walker from Hampton is also a winner. She's number 8 in no particular order. And number 9 and 10 are on the screen. Valerie Pitts from Newport News, also a big winner tonight for a free Marcos pizza, 1 topping. I mean, you could use it right before Christmas, after Christmas. As soon as you get it in the mailbox, you can put it to good use. And I want to mention one in Chesapeake. We got a winner, Zion Rosales, also a winner tonight with a pizza. So we got Annette, Cynthia, Takia, Harold, Jana, Jennifer, Milton, Shanice, Valerie, and Zion. So very happy that all of you have won free pizza. Now it's time to give away pizza with some confetti. All right, the big winner this week, free Marcos pizza for a year. This is 12 pizzas with 12 toppings. Well, 1 topping per pizza, but it's spaced out over time. And that winner is, grand prize winner is Joe Rogers. Joe, you mean the Joe Rogers, the one and only? Well, the one and only one that we have his address, because it's going into his mailbox. Joe Rogers, you just won free pizza for a year. You've got 3 locations in Virginia Beach that you can utilize, Joe. Very, very happy that you won. These are the 3 locations at the top from Virginia Beach with the 757 phone number. Thrilled that you have just won some free pizza. And the certificate will have your name right up here in the upper left corner. We'll put Marco's logo on here. You'll have all that, but you'll be able to use it in December, and then you'll have, like a punch card, be able to punch card right through the first 11 months of 2026. I think that's a pretty sweet deal. Congratulations to you. Joe Rogers is our big winner for the week, and we'll have another couple winners next week too, Monday and Tuesday. So I encourage you to check back. Again, thank you for all the ones who participated and put it in there for sure. Okay, I got Kim. She's back on the weather, and we want to get back to the weather, so let's go to that right now. These are the current readings. Kim has a question. She says, I need this rain out of here by mid-morning. No problem. I think we can deliver that. In fact, I think we're pretty confident that we're going to deliver that probably out of here before 8 o'clock in the morning. Most of us are going to say goodbye to the rain pretty early because it's going to be pretty active while some of us are trying to sleep. And if you're asleep at typically midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 or 4 a.m., well, and you're a light sleeper, I'd say it's going to be a tough night. It could be a tough night simply because of the fact that the winds will be blowing and it'll be pounding on the window panes in a neighborhood near you. Speaking of neighborhoods, it's 58 right now in Franklin, 59 in Suffolk, and it's 57 in Elizabeth City. Now, low temperatures, low to mid 50s. I mean, our lowest temperature is coming in right now. You might not even get this low, but in a worst case scenario, maybe get down to 54. Norfolk, it's already back to 60. So we're kind of trending back up. I don't see us going much lower than where we are right now, but again, just for maybe for the exercise, for the sake of the exercise, I don't think we'll get much lower than 56 for Gatesville and Hertford. Now, I did show you this map yesterday with some new towns that you probably have either one, didn't even know about, two, never even thought in a million years you'd ever visit. So I'm going to do it fourth, right? I want to focus on the super cold air that will come back, maybe not today, and certainly not tomorrow or before Christmas. Maybe Monday was pretty chilly, but the coldest air has already dipped back into Minnesota and North Dakota. You say, how do you know that? Just from the colors. I mean, look at Minneapolis was in the mid 30, like 37, 38 last night. And now what's the temperature? Same time I do this live stream, they're now at 11. You know, like Des Moines 17. So clearly there's a surge of cold air that's dipping down. And if you want to go further, now it's negative 29 in Fort Severn. Well, I've never even been there. I don't even know. I have to Google it. What's this Fort Severn? I don't know. It's just some randomized points of interest in Canada that when you see white, it's probably 10 or 20 degrees below normal. But below normal, how about below zero? These aren't even wind chills. These are the actual temperatures. In Lake Lynn Airport, it's negative 22 right now. It's negative 29 in Fort Severn and negative 20 on Island Lake. So if you're in Canada and you're up in that neck of the woods, you got to be a hardy bunch to be able to survive that kind of weather. I wouldn't personally like it. I'd rather have someplace tropical, someplace warm. Maybe you're of the same mindset. But eventually some of that could come down in modified form. We know that. We saw that. We lived that last Sunday night into Monday. Because Monday we felt a 19, felt like 9. But 9 has got to feel better than the negative 34 that they felt in terms of wind chill in Iowa and Wisconsin on Sunday night, Monday. Pretty amazing stuff. All right, it is now 8:07. We're going to be falling tomorrow. What time is it likely to drop? I've already said it. I'll say it again, just for those who have just joined us. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. If you don't hit 67 by 10 a.m., you're certainly not going to do it at 2 p.m. No chance. No chance of hitting 67 by 2 p.m. if you haven't done it by 10. That's because the front is timing in and will be pushing out. So our temperatures for the next couple of days, look at Saturday and Sunday, a 10-degree difference. 48 mostly sunny on Saturday, 58 partly cloudy on Sunday. Very cold into the low 40s on Monday. We talk about this Arctic air. We just looked at a few locations in Canada, and when it rotates counterclockwise, there's got to be something that's going to displace it, something that would reverse course. And that something typically is what we call the sudden stratospheric warming event, as my computer also going back to sleep, having all sorts of technical issues. But displacement pushes this cold air back down over our head. And that may very well be what some of us experience as we head toward the end of this year. Because if you remember, the latest update we're getting now from at least the 70 millibar level. This is roughly 10, 11 miles up. When the stratosphere starts to warm, and this is a close-up view of it, has the 18 that shows there's probably some good indication that some really cold air is going to come in this direction. Maybe it heads toward New England and misses the Outer Banks and Hampton Roads. That's possible. But a 30-day period from this point forward would put you around the 18th of January. And I said by the time we get to the 19th of January, or Dr. King Day, our winter weather may start to retreat. We may see, again, you'll look back at this winter and say, I didn't get much snow. Well, you did if you were in Williamsburg. You did if you were in Gloucester. You did if you were in Matthews. You had far more snow than we've had down here in Norfolk because we've had only an inch so far this season. But I do think this was a front-end loaded winter. November, we had, of course, a little bit of snow on Veterans Day in the pre-dawn hours. And then, of course, the 10 days ago, we had 0.8. So this Arctic air that I'm talking about will come back. If you go back and look at this, I've talked about the example of a stand-up paddleboarder, right? They'll be looking at the models. They see the forecast is supposed to be great. It's sunny, but they never expect a motorboat, a speedboat, or a jet ski that sails by and zooms by, creating more wave action. And suddenly they're on their keystone moisture falling into the water. And that's the disruptive nature that this provides. When you get a sudden stratospheric warming event, suddenly about 30 days later, not 30 seconds later, but 30 days later, you can suddenly see a very strong surge of cold air. And I think that's where we're headed. I think we're going to see that show up in a big way. This was actually back on the 1st of December. Would suggest, and if I zoom in a little bit tighter, you can see some brown areas. It could very well bring in a very cold sense that the models don't even see yet. They're not even aware of it yet because this is living at 6 to 31 miles up in the sky. And eventually some of that's going to push back down simply because all of us remember from grade school or middle school, warm air rises, cold air sinks. And so if you get a sudden warming event in the stratosphere, we can suddenly see some very cold air like we did just a few days ago. Remember Monday, we were down to 19 degrees. Cold air can certainly return. Now, the upper air pattern, if this will load, hopefully this will show some colors. You can see it does ebb and flow. Well, obviously, we're on the warm side of the ledger at this time, but there's more cold air where that came from, and you can see it spinning around like a top. And that purple area is the cold air, and it will eventually push back down, if not by the 27th, perhaps before the first day of the year. Now, high temperature day for the second day in a row hits 62. And if you look at the big scheme of things, that's the only third day of the month that we've been above normal for the day. We had a couple of days, or one day that was at normal, that was December 2nd, but we've been at 62 for 2 days in a row, and we're running about 8 degrees below normal now, given the fact it did warm up this afternoon. Airport delays, not an issue, maybe Dallas, but I always like to look at this simply to get to see a bird's eye view if weather is affecting perhaps some of the travel. It does not look like it's affecting Dallas. They could be having some of their own issues, but you can clearly see in this orange polygon area, they're dealing with some severe weather now in parts of Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. In fact, I'll zoom into the area in Tennessee. It looks like it's just northeast of Nashville, where in Sumner, Trousdale, and Wilson County, they have a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45 Central Time, and that might be working its way north of Cookeville. But you also have more storms coming in across areas to the west of Huntsville. Alabama has some severe weather. I've kind of put this in motion. Would affect the areas around Colbert, Lauderdale, and Limestone counties there, and Franklin County until about 7:30. Tornado possible too. So the severe weather is affecting parts of the country. It's all connected to the same system that's trying to march in here, and that might actually bring some wind to a neighborhood near you. It is 8:12. It is 59 in Hampton right now, 58 Chesapeake and Virginia Beach, 59 in Suffolk. If you've got a comment, we'd love to say hi to you. Checking in with notes that might be coming in. I got a big old congratulations from our friend Kim. Always appreciate that because I know Milton is sometimes he'll leave a comment, maybe not on the live stream, but other posts that I've made. So I'm glad he's getting a pizza. And if he's never tried Marco's, he gets to try it for free. Maybe he'll share. Maybe he'll share a slice with someone he knows in his neighborhood. But thank you so much, Kim, for sharing that. And let's see here. Alexander wants to know what's 8 a.m. looking like. Much improved. Much improved. The worst of it's, I think, between midnight and about 4 or 5 a.m. Because after that, 8 o'clock, it's pretty much moving on out. There could be a few residual showers, 9 or 10 a.m. I'll show you that. But by noontime, 1 o'clock, it's sunny across the board. That's my expectation for sure. All right, these are the current readings. 61 in Edenton, 61 in Currituck. We've got 60 in Yorktown. Temperatures right now, 55 Columbus. It is 60 in Atlanta and 63 in Hatteras. We've already shown you this map. I mean, what a difference. Chicago's freezing at 32, but Minneapolis is frigid. They're at a measly 11 degrees while they're still in the negative territory in Canada. So we want to keep moving because I know we've got to cover some other points here. And that would be specifically what's going to come down over time. Follow, if you will, the white-blue areas in Canada, Western Canada. It will set the stage or pave a highway for cold air to drip down. It's already dripped down into Minneapolis. They're at 11. So what would it take? Perhaps maybe a change in the wind direction. What would it take for some of this cold air just to the east of Alaska to work its way back down? I am convinced that winter's not done, but I do think as we move into the first 2-3 weeks, let's see, Dr. King Day is what? The 19th. But I'd say between the 15th and 19th of January, that may be the last of the real harsh winter that we have potential to see this year. We'll see if I'm wrong, but that's not to say, as I've said before, it's not to say we couldn't get snow in February. I just think the best chance for winter was on the front end of the season. Now, if that's the way it looks here, you can see from the Climate Prediction Center, they've got a bullseye And I mean a bullseye of above normal temperatures in Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas, Louisiana. So if you have family that lives there, they're going to be enjoying a very mild start to the new year. It would appear, at least not certainly the day after Christmas, right through January 1st. This is a projection from them. But you can't convince Minneapolis right now when it's 11 that it's going to be above normal. There will be intervals of cold air too. 60 degrees for a high temperature tomorrow in Onancock and Bloxham, 59 degrees in Saxis, 58 for Cape Charles, and 59 in Exmoor. Most of what we're going to see here will be the rain after midnight into the pre-dawn hours. 63 for Manio, Nags Head, 61 Duck, Rodanthe 63, and Windy in Hatteras, Ocracoke, both 64, 63 respectively. Now, you often don't see, and this is late December, but where we see the dark green areas, that is a marginal risk or isolated severe risk for thunderstorms, limited in duration. We mentioned this at the top of the live stream, and maybe they've expanded it a little bit. Looks like they have, to include a better part of Alabama. But if I were to zoom in a little bit tighter here, you can clearly see there's going to be some issues in parts of the country here. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit tighter here. Yep. So how far away is it from Knoxville? Because I have maybe Rockwood, right? It does include Oneida, but it does not include maybe Knoxville or maybe in Harriman. Rockwood is included, Harriman is not. So if that's where they're drawing the line, Spring City's in this green area, Crossville, Cumberland County, definitely in the area, Clark Range, Lansing, Norma, and Sunbright, and even Jamestown, Fentress County, has the potential between now and 7 o'clock tomorrow morning to receive a isolated severe storm. And that would extend down toward Huntsville and further south into Mississippi. Now back home, here in the Outer Banks, we include Morehead City, New Bern, Duck, Rodanthe, Ocracoke, all of these areas, Hatteras, have the potential for maybe some damaging wind, maybe a 2% chance or less for a possible spin-up tornado. Anything is possible, but when it happens in the middle of the night, it's very important that you download the free First Warning weather app. We hope that the WTKR weather app, you can get the notifications, and having a NOAA weather radio in conjunction to having a great weather app can really be life-saving, especially when notifications are important while we sleep. We need to know what's going on when severe weather is trying to approach. And severe weather threat on Friday looks it's non-existent and really not an issue on Saturday either. Now, this is very telling. It's now 8:17. Tell me where the rain is. We're going to look at the radar again here in a moment. But notice the winds. They do pick up. There's midnight, and it's starting to becoming very steady rain over here to the west. And it's, I say 80% at midnight. There's still maybe some dry spots in Chesapeake or Virginia Beach. But give it 30 minutes. Give it an hour or two. Boom. Wow. Now you have what looks like a pretty good squall line. You got an area in red that looks like a good thunderstorm. And some of these winds associated with this bow, it's like a bow and arrow. Looks like it's trying to push into the Williamsburg area, into the Isle of Wight, into Smithfield, possibly into Suffolk. And it's going to be very important that if you're not awake, or if you are awake, that you're getting these notifications, because it's going to come in pretty strong between midnight and 2 a.m. in these counties, in these areas, in these cities. Virginia Beach, feeling the brunt of this at 3 in the morning. And this is a sustained wind. So you got Elizabeth City, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Back Bay, Exmoor, Eastern Shore. Everybody pretty much in the sound of my voice in these areas are going to have some impact between now and 3 in the morning. And some of you are like, well, I only care about 8 a.m. Well, 8 a.m. it's over, right? I mean, this is 5 hours before 8 a.m. That's my point. 4 a.m. it's really pounding areas around Duck, Knott's Island, Elizabeth City, parts of maybe Cape Charles, and you're like, make it stop. I just want to get some sleep. It's already 4 in the morning, and my trash can has gone down the street, and it's now being opened up to all the world to see all my Christmas buying. No, I don't want that to happen. Again, just a reminder, if it's your trash pickup day, tomorrow morning, maybe you wait to set it out. Once you get up tomorrow, make sure it's fastened, because these winds are pretty nasty. By the time we hit 6 a.m., there's not much left, right? If you're only focused on 8 a.m., this is 8 a.m. We still have some showers in Richmond at 8 o'clock, and it's just mainly gray. But fear not, by 10 a.m., the last hurrah, this is coincidental with the drop in temperature. So when I mentioned 10 a.m., temperatures are going to drop, it's because the colder air is back here. And the last of this, last of the disturbance is finally pushing out at 10 a.m. because by the time we hit noon, nothing but sunshine. I mean, you said 1 o'clock. Yeah, maybe it breaks by 11, maybe at noon, but by 1 o'clock, I'd say most everybody is clear as a bell. Because 4 o'clock, it's still windy, but now it's a westerly wind. Starts off southwest, but it's now a westerly wind at 22 miles an hour at 4 o'clock. and we're back down to about 55. We're falling, not rising. And then by the time we hit nightfall tomorrow night, I mentioned the winds would drop off. Now it's less than 10. The winds are less than 10 miles an hour once the sun goes down tomorrow night, and that occurs at 4:51 p.m. Does that make sense? Just try to keep it real and really informative so that you're ahead of the game and ahead of the curve. 7 a.m. tomorrow, on Saturday rather, very light winds. There's hardly any wind. It's mostly sunny. We're struggling to hit 48, but the winds are less than 10, right? And you got a mostly sunny day on Saturday. Looks great. So tonight's lows, I won't belabor. We're already pretty much where we're going to be as far as lows, about 54 for Norfolk, 57, Chesapeake, 58 for Moyoc. Afternoon tomorrow, yeah, by the time we hit the afternoon, like 4 p.m., we're falling, not rising. We're around the mid-50s. But as far as the afternoon high, I should say it's the morning high. The morning high temperature may be 64 for Portsmouth, Virginia Beach, 67, Elizabeth City. I think we're going to hit 67 in Moyoc and Norfolk tomorrow. But that will happen right before 10 o'clock in the morning. Now here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. 48 Saturday, 58 Sunday. Cold sunshine on Monday. This is probably the coldest day I've got. We're starting off in the upper 20s. Perhaps if we're lucky, we get some frost on Christmas morning. That's the Christmas miracle this year. That if we have enough cold air in place that some of you are dealing with frosty cold conditions on Christmas morning, so be it. I left a 10% chance for some rain. I do see rain potentially in western Pennsylvania and in northern West Virginia. So just to be safe, I just put a 10% chance. Maybe some of that rain tries to make it here, but right now I think we're at 59 on Christmas Day and 48 for Christmas Eve. I'm going to come back to this in a moment. By the way, a beautiful sunrise picture from Charles Terrell capturing over Newport News. Isn't that beautiful? This is why people like to live here. I mean, the views here are fantastic, and the photographers group, the WTKR Photographers Facebook group, is second to none. Love the pictures. And this one's from Bradley Fullwood at Fort Monroe in Sunrise in Hampton. Love this. And last but not least, Mount Trashmore sunset from Lisa, capturing some clouds and some sun. So again, to recap, here's the situation on the radar right now. All right, this is over the last 2 hours. So you can see it's beginning to advance well into Bertie County, and it's already beginning to knock on the door of Emporia. So imagine now that we've passed 8 o'clock, I had a 30% chance of rain at 8. And boy, once we get to midnight, it's going to be about an 80% chance. It's all going to fill in. You'll definitely want to tune into the 11 o'clock newscast. I will be on, and we'll do it tonight as well, so we'll keep you posted as best I can. Just a reminder, again, want to thank all my participants who want to get a free pizza. We'll be signing up for next week's. If you didn't win tonight, you are a winner simply from watching this deal of the week. It's WTKR 50. That's our TV call letters plus the 50 off. And you're like, oh, I don't even know what Marco's sells. Well, they got everything. I mean, they got pizza, they got pozzolis, they got pizza bowls, they got subs, you name it, they have it, and you'll get 50% off. And one of the great items they have is this pozzoli. It was one of the first things I ever tried at Marco's. I was impressed. Pepperoni and sausage is my favorite. It's like a calzone or a stromboli, and it's got great protein, but I'll tell you what, if you're looking for something that's easy, it's a lot bigger than what the picture would suggest. And the Pepperoni Magnifico, a great item. If you want half off, you could do that by using the same promo code. So just a reminder, the Pizza for a Year certificate was given out tonight. We'll do one next week. But to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. All right, just a reminder, and just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or rainy. It doesn't matter if it's sunny or serious, like it may be tonight, overnight tonight, especially in the Outer Banks. But either way, just remember that every day is a gift. Every day is a gift, and we'll see you here, and make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Well, actually, we'll see you here Monday, because, of course, I'll be here on the TV side tomorrow, but we'll live stream again on Monday. Keep me informed on what you see, and we'll see you here next time. Take care.